let's go to Davos, where Rajan Bharti Mittal, Vice Chairman and MD of Bharti Enterprises, spoke to Mihir Bhatt at Davos on the India story. Listen to what he had to say.
It's the first working day. Yesterday was only meet and greet. It was a working day. And I think India story remains vibrant. And that's why the participation also remains vibrant from Indian point of view. And clearly we are seeing it, the traction for India's story is there. It's the largest, fastest growing economy. India has to be on the, every CEO's desk if they have to go global. So I think from that point of view, and keep in mind that manufacturing, which has been a laggard till now, with the new initiative and especially Prime Minister's particularly saying that Make in India has to be done, I think that has given a lot of impetus. So that growth story remains and we are seeing the changes. We never thought in our lifetime that manufacturing will get that much traction, which is getting. So I think it will be a good skew between manufacturing and services industry. Services industry has always got much higher proportional investments, but now manufacturing is getting it. So India's story in that sense, fastest growing economy, policy direction, political stability, I think that's where it is.
Also, Mr. Mittal, what I have seen is for past couple of years, we see a very healthy and positive competition between Indian states. And, every state is trying to go out of the way, attract more investors and go global. How do you see that playing out?
I think it's a good idea. India is a large country, so it's a good idea that the states are actually now raising their hand and saying, come and invest in my state. We will give you all the help, incentives. We will give you all what is needed. So I think it's a good, healthy thing to do. This also brings a competition among states, which makes them to do better on infrastructure, on people management, on policy management, taxation. So I think it's a good, healthy practice that has started.
Right. If we look at global prospects right now, obviously we have Trump. He has just taken over, and Trump 2.0 has a huge overhang as far as global economy is concerned. Then there are other challenges. We have the European war that's going on. Middle East looks like it's getting resolved. But there are a lot of headwinds. In the middle of all this, what is your outlook on global economy from India's lens?
There are challenges, of course, as we are seeing it. As I said, India is growing globally. We were about 3% growth. This year, the projection is about 2.7% growth. There are challenges, but there will also have to be, over a period of time, brought into some resolutions, which we will see. There are some resolutions which are happening. Some will go down south, like we are seeing the oil prices going up, so that impacts our economy in that sense. Inflation pressures will come around. But I still believe that India is working well with the global leaderships, be it US, be it Europe. We are talking to UK, EU for FTAs. So I think India is getting plugged into that, and India should become also a sourcing point for the global manufacturing. So once that comes in, we are in the global supply chain. I think we will see much more convergence. And of course, geopolitics remains a challenge of few places that we see. We hope that gets resolved sooner than later.
Budget is around the corner. Do you see there is that renewed impetus required on cranking up the manufacturing machinery and also focusing on consumption, looking at the slightly uncertain scenario that we are in, especially in urban consumption?
I think the hope is that the budget will bring something on the table, especially for the spending, because consumption has to be up. There is some slowdown in consumption, but there's a temporary blip as it happens, and also in a large economy as it is growing. So we believe that budget should bring something, maybe some taxation, so that the money can be in the hands of the consumer to spend it. That could happen. Infrastructure, I would say impetus will be there. Government is already committed to invest in infrastructure. That brings a lot of other industries into play, this steel, the cement, and many other industries. Also in telecom, we've always said India Telecom being the most competitive in the world, the levies need to be kind of re-examined. We have hoped that this budget does some of that, because for Digital India, if you have to, and we are in every part of the country really with 4G, 5G, I think we have to digitize and digital India for literacy, for healthcare, for it needs that taxation needs to be a little rationalized. That's our view.
Right. You mentioned about telecom. I mean, your view about this whole Starlink episode. India has shared its view, but we also know that it's a pet project for Mr. Elon Musk. And I mean, the way equation is between Mr. Trump and Elon Musk, do you see some renewed pressure coming on Indian government from US side as far as Starlink project is concerned?
No, I think India will play the way it will play for the country, what is best for our country. I think that's a given. We have seen it, and I don't think so there'll be any other thing. And India, as I said, India, US have great relationship. Nothing will be done which is not, as we said, first what is for India. And I think India is so well connected on terrestrial networks today. You go to every part of the nook and corner of the country, you will find a data which the price points which are so low. Some unconnected areas which remain, they will always remain around India, maritime, then defense. For that, satellite is needed. We are also ready to launch our services. We have got, one in Gujarat and one in Tamil Nadu. Our stations are ready. Once we get the clearance on the spectrum, we'll be ready to roll. And our belief is there should be a level playing field. That's all our view is. We are a product of a competition. We have not ever said the competition or the technology changes would not happen. But all we are saying is there should be a level playing field.
Right. Coming back to Indian economy, do you see private capex picking up? Because that is one point I think which is very critical for sustained fast-paced growth that we require for next couple of years.
I think Indian capex is already on the rise now as we are seeing it. India, both in manufacturing, in infrastructure, I think it's getting there. So I don't think so there will be, some slowdowns has happened, but it'll pick up. I'm quite certain about that.
Right. What is your key takeaway so far from all your meetings that you have had here? There's a large Indian contingent and Indian presence. In fact, you see so many Indian faces here, it almost feels like you're in an Indian hill station.
True. There are many Indians, and I think I've met a few of my colleagues from the industry. It seems to be that India, as I said, is getting traction. I'm told they've had good meetings. I've had good meetings. And I think while it does look like there are big Indian contingent, that's always good news. That means the Indian economy is working well. The interest in India is there. That's most important.
Right. One last question, sir, about global economy. Do you see the fears of trade conflict between, let's say, US or China, or the impending new trade policy that US is likely to unveil in the next couple of weeks? The fears are overblown?
Some pressure is seemingly there, but I think we'll have to see as it unveils itself. But I would say, globally there will be some challenges between few countries. That's quite evident. From Indian point of view, as I said, I think we have got relationship which are strong relationship between the countries. And I think we will be able to sit across the table to manage that both sides have a win-win position and nobody's impacted.